Hey guys, Biosec here. Now, I'm sorry if you hear my brother in the background. He is asleep right now. But, anyways, let's just get on with it. So, I, of course, got another comment. And, of course, I keep on getting comments about, the expense of Realdol. And who can really blame them? And also, who can really blame people, for obviously thinking that, Realdol is just upright screwing them over? I seriously do not blame them. In fact, their prices are a bit adjusted, to say the least. But, I'm just going to read this comment here for a moment here. All right. I'm trying to not speak too loud because of my brother. All right. It'll just take a moment. Okay, come on. Okay, here's the comments here. Nope. Don't reply. Come on. He says, I still love Realdolls' work even though I can't afford their feet no more due to them jacking them up from $200 to $400. And I said, of course, well, they are selling a ton of them, for one. And I said, and he, of course, replied, I can see that, but Oxy foot fetish toys don't rally jack the prices up. The prices have been the same since 2019, so changed the Oxy because they have a better business sense and customer sense than Real Doll ever did. And of course, replied, as much as I don't like their prices, if they jack up a price, it's because they aren't making money on it. And there's another comment here. I guess I'll read while I'm at it. I have been emailing sales rep for Real Doll. I've already have 2 TPE dolls, so I'm ready for a premium silicone doll with permanent hair. I was asking about super glue or silicone cement. Yeah, never ever ever use silicone. Never use super glue or silicone cement. Never use any type of cement like that on a doll. It just ruins the scalp. That's all that stuff will ever do. So never ever use super glue or cement. But the sales rep says only the chief makeup artist can do hand punched hair, and she is still on maternity leave. So until then, it's removable wigs for all real dolls. Like I said, I already have 2 TPE dolls with removable wigs, so that's not what I want to pay for. I sent my first email to Synthetics. I have asked about permanent hair for silicone dolls, but they haven't replied back yet. This is the worst time to order a high quality American made silicone doll. And I, of course, replied, well, you don't have to worry about a permanent wig. Besides, it really doesn't come cheap. Like, it really, really does not come cheap to get a permanent wig. And most of the time, they only worry about a permanent wig if you're getting a fully customized doll. They have to put the hair in, each hair in of the head one at a time with a puncher. And it takes forever for them to do it. I have no issues with removable wigs for my real doll, and like how easy it is to put the wig on versus other brands that I've had. Now, that being said, of course, we'll get out of that. Oh shit, my brother might be waking up. And one thing that I kind of thought about as far as the price of these real dolls is that, and any love doll in general, love dolls are basically the same as selling cars. Not only is it like buying a car, but it's basically the same as selling cars to them. It's essentially the same thing as selling cars. If they sell a cheaper doll at Real Doll, they aren't going to be making much money on that love doll because the cheaper love dolls, they don't have a lot of room for currency. That, and people in America, especially, they want all of the high end, you know, how should I say, add-ons. They want all of the high end add-ons, and so that just jacks up the price even more, which is part of the reason why the Wicked Real Doll, the Real Doll 2, and the Real Doll X, with the only major feature difference being, the Real Doll X has AI and the others don't. And that's the only major difference between that and the other dolls. Because, when people want, let's say, a Real Doll 2 or a Wicked Real Doll, they want sometimes the same features as the other dolls have. And so now they're almost all identical in price, besides the Real Doll X, right? And the classic Real Doll, of course, for the people that want something that's cheaper. But, also people, when they pay that expensive prices, they want, of course, the more high-end materials and everything. And some of these materials are rare. Not only that, but again, when, they are, not you selling some of the more expensive dolls, they aren't making that much money. I mean, for instance, if, let's say, Ferrari sells their cheapest car, for somebody that's just looking for a budget, they aren't making much money on that car. They have to sell a ton of these cheaper cars just to make any money on them. And that would be the same for Real Doll. They would have to sell a ton of cheaper Love dolls just to make money. And at the same time, that would be getting in the way of their more expensive doll lineup, which is why they aren't selling cheaper dolls like some people would probably prefer. But, if they were selling the cheaper dolls, people would be missing out on some of the more important features and better features that people want. And having, a feature like, permanent hair that's punched in by hand, features like that are very expensive to keep around because they tend to not use features like that very often. Not many people get those kind of features, so keeping features that people don't use very often is very expensive. And like I said, they only have like probably one or two people that punch the hair in like that for customized wigs like that. And so it's very expensive to keep those people around and have those features around. And so you're also paying for that. I mean, you aren't just paying for the doll here. You're paying for the service. You're paying for, the experience. You're paying for this and you're paying for that. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. So eventually they just end up jacking up the price. And also, unlike, certain sites like the guy was talking about, other sites, you will notice that the materials or products that they are selling are either going to be the same price or they're going to get cheaper over time. And that's because the products that they are selling aren't getting any better. They're not putting any research into making their products better over time. So either they're getting more expensive over time due to, that's something becoming rare, like platinum, let's say. Either that, or it's getting cheaper because the demand and the technology are just getting older and older and older. And that's the reason why either they don't change or they get cheaper over time. Plus, I always think it's funny, they always say shit like, oh, this is 20% off. Well, the truth is that things just get cheaper over time. So when something goes down in value, they'll just try to hide it by saying, hey, this thing's 20% off now, instead of just stating the fact that it's just getting cheaper, So again, selling these love dolls is basically like selling cars. If they aren't selling their more high-end dolls, like the Real Doll 2s and Real Doll X's that they have now, they just are not making the kind of money that they need in order to make more of these dolls, for one. And I don't know, probably some of them are probably very rich. I don't know, but But they also need that kind of money because they need they need that money for better security. They need that money to be like, hey, we're going to use this money for this and that. We're going to use this money to, for advertisements. An advertisement costs so much freaking money. Just alone, let's say if you want to put your ad in a newspaper, you have to pay a printing company, even if you're paying 10 cents per ad for the newspaper, and you're making like a million of those ads, that's still plenty of money that you're spending just on that. Advertisement costs a shitload of money. And you have to outbid other companies as well. So they also are using that money to outbid other companies and advertise. That's where a good chunk of their money goes, actually. And that's why you see the name Realdol more than you see most companies in America, is because they're outbidding other companies with that money. But, so to speak. But I think that's enough about that. I mean, again, I don't like the prices of their shit either. Their prices are a bit inflated and adjusted. But, there is a reason for it. It isn't just a bunch of greedy assholes. I mean, yeah, they're greedy. Obviously, they have something called a company. If you have a company, you're probably greedy. But probably the worst case I've ever seen where a price has been inflated, or one of the worst at least, is when, was it Dr. Dre's lineup for his headset? And I know which one. I know you guys know which headset I mean. For Dr. Dre's headsets, I can't think of the name at the moment for some reason. I know I would know it if I saw it, but I heard that one of their more expensive like headsets, which is like what, $300 to $400. I heard that it only took like what, $20 just to make it, in parts at least. I mean, granted, you understand they're probably paying people to make this stuff, and they got to pay the people that make it. But I've got to say that's probably the most inflated price I've ever heard on a product so far. And there are some others that are probably doing it, but at least for Realdol, it's at least not that bad. It's at least not like that, but the price is a bit inflated. I will admit, of course. Of course, they can't really hide it either. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.